We're not yet done with the paradox known as the Lion Guard. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because we're diving back down. It's time to once again criticize a kids show. But with all the crap that's been going on lately, I'd consider this as therapeutic by now. When we last left off, things got a little real, but now we're back, and we're gonna dig even deeper into the lion crab hole to see what the Pride Lands has to offer. Or rather, the Paradox Pride Lands. For those of you who are left being worried that Simba would stay as a straight-up jackass to a child, even if it is stupid Bunga, don't you worry. In Bunga and the King, they both went their separate ways, but reunited after they heard each other sing Hakuna Matata and realized they had Timon and Pumbaa in common, and that made them adopted brothers. At any other time of day, or if it had been another character, this sort of scene would be a lot more cuter. But Bunga is just an annoying pest, as we've established, so it just feels like Simba has to get along with him just because this guy was also raised by Timon and Pumbaa.
I'm sorry I yelled at you, bro.
That's king, bro, to you.
You have deeply disappointed me, Simba. But then again, Timon and Pumbaa don't really love Bunga now, do they? Sure, they had the intention of using Simba as a bodyguard when they took him in, but as you can see in Lion King 1.5 and the original Lion King, they did come to care for and love Simba. Which means Simba is the favorite adopted son, and Bunga is just the food provider. Speaking of Simba, a regular occurrence seems to be that people view him as a jerk and a racist asshole. Why? Well, one example would be back in the Lion Guard movie, when Kion makes his decision on who was gonna be on his Lion Guard team. Simba, it didn't really take it so well.
Kiara tells me you've asked Bunga to join the Lion Guard.
Hey.
Is this true?
Well, yeah. I was just talking to all my friends about it.
Your friends? Kion, I asked you to assemble the new Lion Guard. Instead, you're just playing with your friends?
I'm not playing, Dad. My friends are the new Lion Guard. Foolie is the fastest, Beshti is the strongest, Ono is the keenest of sight, and the bravest? It's Bunga.
Generous honesty, laughter, kindness, loyalty.
Kion, the Lion Guard has always been made of lions. Do you really think a Lion Guard with only one lion can protect the Pride Lands?
Well, actually...
Son, listen. The Lion Guard isn't a game you play with your friends. It's real. The circle of life and your life will depend on who's on your team.
This reaction caused quite a fuss in the Lion King community that actually bothered to watch this, because Simba was raised by a meerkat and a warthog when he was a cub, and so him refusing Kion's choice of Lion Guard members made people see him as a jerk or a racist or an asshole or a hypocrite, because they believe he should have known better. To be a devil's advocate for a little bit, he does have a point, because when you think Lion Guard, you would first think about lions and not random animals. But to be fair, Kion's choices do make sense because they are each suited to their roles. The cheetah is a fast animal. A hippo is a very strong animal, though it could have been an elephant instead. And egret is a bird, so he would have the best bird's eye view.
Really?
And a honey badger, well, maybe not this particular honey badger, but a honey badger would indeed be a brave addition to the group.
Please, Kion, there There are plenty of good lions for the guard.
Where? Show me them. Show me, Simba. They were murdered years ago.
I need you to take your new responsibility seriously, just as seriously as Kiara takes hers.
Also, I don't think you should be saying that Kiara takes her duty seriously, Simba. After all, she never wanted to be queen in the first place as a cub. And then again, it does seem to prove my theory right. Simba sang with Kiara first because she's the favorite and is not the bastard child. Kion's real mother probably dumped him at the doorstep of Pride Rock and then died at some point. So when Simba took him in, he had to cover up his one-night stand scandal. So he raised Kiara and Kion with the belief that Kion was the youngest child, since he and Kiara were close in age, so nobody would suspect a thing. When in reality, he is actually the eldest and should be heir. Except he's a bastard child. And, of course, as expected with these sort of things, once Simba rejected Kion's choice of Lion Guard members, Kion gets all depressed and sulky and starts having his own lament moment.
They say the guard is my call, but then come tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, so the singing isn't too bad. It's decent. It's quite passable. I mean, this is a show on Disney Junior, but again, it also shows up on the regular Disney Channel. And this lament just goes on for a bit until,
With all my friends looking up to me, some leader I turned out to be.
Mufasa? 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 Mufasa?
Hey, Kabisa, are you?
Yes, Kion. I am your grandfather.
It's not true! That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No! No!
That's right, it's the return of Mufasa. Well, in the Lion Guard movie it is. James Earl Jones reprised his role as Mufasa in the Lion Guard Return of the Roar. But in the Lion Guard series, somebody else took up that mantle instead of Darth Vader himself. In the series, Mufasa came to be voiced by Gary Anthony Williams. Though admittedly, he does an enough decent job of recreating that Mufasa-ness. But even having the actual James Earl Jones Darth Vader in the Lion Guard movie doesn't save it from itself. When I said Return of Mufasa, I meant it. Here's another problem with the Lion Guard. Mufasa. In the original film, Simba did indeed communicate with Mufasa's spirit during that one scene, and it was by far one of the most memorable moments. It was dramatic, beautifully animated, had an amazing score to match the tone, and was very emotional. You can feel the immense pain and longing Simba was feeling as he finally had a chance to speak with his father after such a long time. What also made it special was how it abruptly ended and left you wanting more. Well, we did get more. In The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, we're given a scene where Rafiki is communicating with Mufasa's spirit as well, except this time it's done in a different way. His spirit was represented with the wind blowing, and we only hear Rafiki's side of the conversation. Nonetheless, we get a sense of what's being talked about. We can easily buy that Rafiki can communicate with him considering how connected he is to the afterlife and spiritual elements. So the fact that he pulled that off was nicely executed and very easy to believe. Now, in the show proper, it's revealed that Kion is actually able to communicate with Mufasa. Had this been just a one-time scene, it would definitely have had the same impact. Here's Kion having a chance to interact with his grandfather for the first time. He's heard the stories from his family members and surely did look up to him. Having a chance to interact with Mufasa like he did on its own is fine. Then it really would have come around full circle. Sure, we would be left wondering why Kiara never had this chance, but that's neither here nor there. Had it been just the one time, it would have been fine and possibly would have had a similar effect. More low-key and less emotional, but it would still have made a mark on Kion's young life and would have inspired him. However, this is not the case. There are two problems with all this. One being that it becomes a recurring situation. Kion actually gets to talk to him anytime he wants to. So because of this, Mufasa has now become an actual wise grandfather figure. He's often called upon for advice, as one would expect, and it happens more and more throughout the show. This completely takes away the impact of Mufasa's presence, because at this point, he might as well have been more like a long-distance relative. What's the point of him even being dead anymore? The emotional impact is just gone by now. Having him being a recurring character in the show when he's already dead is practically one step short of bringing him back to life altogether. But it's not even done with an actual purpose, but rather fan service, if you will, because part of this show's demographic are people who grew up with the trilogy and now get a chance to see a dearly beloved character. Except, seeing him too much is just lessening that entire sentiment, because now we're too used to him and have very little reason to feel anything other than enjoying James Earl Jones reprising his role in the movie. Again, had it just been the one scene, the one time, it would have been fine. It would have been a great balance of nostalgia and giving an understandable reason for it to happen. But since that's not the case, it just ends up having less of an emotional impact and turns it into the main cast having a long-distance relative who they just chat with on Skype. The second problem with this is that Simba is never given this chance to interact with Mufasa in the Lion Guard. This is the very same lion who was emotionally torn apart when Mufasa ceased communicating with him in the first film. He was on the verge of tears, begging for him to stay and running after the retreating clouds. After all, he saw his father's dead body and had to live with the emotional pain and the guilt because he thought he killed Mufasa for God knows how long, and now had the chance to see closure. That was part of what made the Mufasa's ghost scene so good. There wasn't even an aftermath scene in which Kion tells Simba about it. Not that it would have solved the problem, but it would have at least added something. But instead we get this in the Lion Guard. All Kion has to do is walk into a secluded area, look up at the sky and say, "Grandfather Mufasa," and Mufasa answers. Or he doesn't even have to say anything. All he has to do is be so depressed that Mufasa comes to him all on his own.
Kion, something's troubling you. Kion, something's troubling you.
Grandfather Mufasa?
Yes, Kion, I'm here.
Grandfather?
Yes, Kion, I'm here.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm not sure what to do.
I'm always here for you, Kion.
But not for Simba. I already appeared to him and spoke to him at the end of the second film. I have no more reason to ever appear to him ever again. But you, Kion, I'm always here for you because apparently you are my favorite and more competent and perfect than my own son. And my granddaughter Kiara doesn't need any sage advice from her grandfather. She can make out her own solutions just like her father.
Then maybe Dad's right. Maybe I'm not ready to lead or use the roar. I'm not even sure I can control it.
Oh, don't try to be Elsa, Kion. That's a whole load of crap. We all know you can control the roar perfectly fine. The only reason it didn't work that one time was so your friends wouldn't believe you when you told them that you had superpowers.
What in the Pride Lands?
That was different. Kion! You called that a roar?
Didn't sound like a roar.
You sure have some great friends, Kion.
I know we're the Pride Land's fiercest, bravest, fastest, strongest, and keenest of sight.
Generous honesty, laughter, kindness, loyalty.
There's not really much to say about these other characters, other than the fact that they are different animals added into the mix, which is kind of nice, I guess, but that's pretty much all there is to them. You guys remember when I mentioned the meaning of their names in part 1? Well, yeah, that pretty much sums them up for the most part. Beshti is the big guy. He's the muscle and the brawn. But unlike your typical brawn, he's not a dumbass, which is a plus for him. He's also the nice guy and the friendly one, as his name suggests. I'm not sure what Ono is passionate about, since that's the meaning of his name. But it's implied he's the eldest of the guard because of his vocabulary and mannerisms. He's quite a workaholic and is the intelligent one of the group. And I guess he's a clean freak? I'm not really sure what else to say about this bird. We already went over how Bunga is an annoying pest, so no need to cover him again. Let's just move on to the next one. Fuli the cheetah is basically the tomboy character of the Lion Guard and is the only female of the group. She's also the cocky one who loves to go fast, but she's also independent and quite snarky and a little reckless, not like Bunga standards at least, and she loves being alone. Yeah, she's also the loner of the group, but I guess that makes sense since cheetahs in the wild in real life really do like being by themselves. Well, doesn't this remind you of anyone, if only slightly? She's pretty much the cheetah version of Rainbow Dash, but is more of the loner type of Rainbow Dash rather than the extrovert. Well, one of the symptoms to prove this is the fact that she doesn't want to be known as cute, and she'll only allow her friends to hug her once. She also can't stand baboons.
A babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
Well, there was one episode where she actually learned to like a baby baboon and saved its life. And the episode's title is Baboons.
A babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
Wow. Can you tell what animal Fuli cannot stand? Oh, I have no idea. I can't tell. Well, while we're at it, I guess we can talk a little bit more about Prince Kion One Night Stand
bastard child. He's basically Mr. Perfect, Mr. All-Powerful, and if he was any older, I bet he'd also be Mr. Steal Your Girl. Because let's face it, he's always right, and when it feels like he's wrong, he just needs the confidence to say that he was right all along. Don't believe me? Well then, just take a look at these scenes.
You don't know Chandra like I do. I've had to run him off so many times.
Maybe that's why he came to me. Now that I'm queen, he knows.
Kiara, you're not really queen.
I am the queen. And I'll do what I think is best for the Pride Lands.
If you're serious about this, you're on your own.
Brothers.
I can't believe it. What is she thinking?
Kayan, something's troubling you.
It's Kiara, Grandfather. She doesn't know what she's getting herself into.
Kayan, Kiara is your sister, and for now she is your queen. As your queen and sister, she needs your support.
Even if she's wrong?
Especially if she's wrong.
Thank you, Grandfather. Grandfather, I don't know what to do. Dad trusted me to lead the herds, but everything went wrong. And now they all think I'm a bad leader. And I think they might be right.
Kayan, don't let their lack of faith affect yours.
I really do want them to trust me.
They will, as long as you trust yourself. Confidence, Kayan. That's all you need to complete this journey. But confidence doesn't come from what others think about you. It comes from inside yourself.
Thank you, Grandfather. The new crocodile leader, Maku, he's messed things up for animals all over the Pride Lands. And all he wants to do is fight.
Fighting is the crocodile way.
I think Maku's a bully. But Pua, the old crocodile leader, says I should just back down.
There are times to back down, Kayan. But a true leader has to know when to stand his ground, even if it seems difficult.
But fighting can't be the solution to every problem.
Standing your ground doesn't mean you have to fight. It means you're not afraid to stand up to someone who you know is wrong, and show them you're not going to back down.
Oh, I think I understand.
Yeah, of course he's right. He's always right. Kion's the hero. He's the son of the king and the leader of the Lion Guard. Of course he's always right. How dare you imply that Kion will ever be wrong in his lifetime? Also, it doesn't help that the other characters seem to be made to make the wrong decisions or react in the wrong way to certain decisions, so it makes them seem and feel that they're always wrong in order for Kion to be correct all the time. One good thing I can say about the Lion Guard is that Kion actually befriends a hyena named Jasiri, and she's actually a good guy, unlike Janja and the other traditional Lion King hyenas. Though she was created as a response to people who believe that the lions are just being so racist against hyenas. Now I know what you're all thinking. Jasiri is probably gonna be a new member of the Lion Guard, and therefore changing Simba's mind about hyenas and learning that not all of them are evil after all. Well, actually, that's a big no. Yeah, the employment slots for the Lion Guard is already all filled up. I mean, we already got the keenest of sight, we already got the bravest, we already got the fastest, we already got the fiercest, we already got the strongest. No need for an extra member or anything. I mean, it's not like being in the Lionsglaive is dangerous work and one member might need replacing and all that stuff.
Aside from the employment oversight, there is another thing that this show actually offers. You really want to see it? Okay, if you say so.
Hey! Back off!
Who are you?
Name's Kion. Who are you?
Nuka! Hey, Nuka!
Kovu! Tell him to let me up.
A friend of yours?
He's my brother.
What are you two lions doing in the Outlands? Why aren't you in the Pride Lands?
Like our family's welcome there.
Why wouldn't you be? I'm sure my dad will welcome you there.
And who's your dad?
You know, the king of the Pride Lands, Simba.
Simba?
You really think he'd allow us into the Pride Lands?
I don't see why not. Especially if you give Kasiri's family their watering hole back.
Back to the Pride Lands? That means I could see Kiara again.
You know Kiara?
Yeah. It was a while ago.
Are you kidding me? Kovu and the Outlanders are in this show. And also, Kion, son of Simba, leader of the Lion Guard, doesn't even know about them. Remember, this show takes place during Lion King 2, and this guy, who's in charge of the security measures in the Pride Lands, has no idea who these lions are or why they are even in the Outlands? And we're supposed to believe that Kion and his friends ever existed in the first place?
And what do you mean a while ago? Are you trying to tell me that this scene happened only a while ago? Yeah, sure, I believe that.
As leader of the Lion Guard, Kion possesses a special power. The roar of the elders. Isn't that right?
Yeah, how do you know?
Oh, I know all about the roar. You see that little cloud? Try roaring at it.
Roar at the cloud?
Why yes, Kion, why don't you show us what happens when you listen to what a villain tells you and roar at a poor, innocent, itty-bitty little tuft of cloud?
Run! Back up!
Whoa!
I wasn't kidding when I said he was a dragonborn, and now thanks to Deus Ex Zera here, who for some reason knows everything, he now knows the shout of Stormcall. And that's not all he can do. Kion even has a dark roar combined with elvish magic.
Get away from my mom!
Kion, your roar! It's coming back towards us!
Mom! Mom!
Kion!
Hang on! Almost! Gotcha!
Okay, first of all, that is not possible. A little cub Kion's age cannot just grab and lift up a full-grown lioness up a cliff like that. And secondly, Nala falling off a cliff, that isn't the only time this happens. Apparently, the Lion Guard just loves Mufasa's death scene so damn much that it makes references to it multiple times, to the point that it's no longer a reference. It just became a regular Tuesday for Simba and his family, the family who loves to fall off cliffs.
I got you.
Because that is what we all wanted to see. A reenactment of Mufasa's untimely death and a reminder that Simba's whole family has a thing for falling off cliffs. Perfect nostalgia, am I right?
Well, what else can I say about the Lion Guard that probably hasn't already been said by others? It looks nice, the colors are bright, some of the songs are actually decent enough, and the character models look pretty nice. If they were standing still. I know I have been comparing the show to the original so often, but it's hard not to, and it does have the Lion King name. Now, I know there are people out there who actually like the Lion Guard, and hey, you do you. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the Lion Guard for yourself, but I think we can all agree that the original movie is the way to go if you want to introduce your kid to the world of the Lion King, and move up from there. And if they also happen to enjoy the Lion Guard, then good on them. But personally, I feel like the Lion Guard is a really unnecessary addition to the world of Lion King. Now, I'm not one of those who love to make theories or go deeper than usual into the lore of Lion King, but the additional lore this show provided pretty much messes with what many of us know and are already familiar with. And sometimes their little references or tributes may feel a bit insulting or embarrassing. Now, on the technical things about the show, the walk cycle of the four-legged animals, including the lions and hyenas, make them look like those toys that have stiff legs you can move back and forth, and it just looks so odd. In the previous Lion Kings, the way the lions move looks and feels so natural and smooth, but in the Lion Guard, they're like stiff plastic toys. Simba and Nala look chunky, but maybe they wanted to make them look that way for the kiddies? Who knows? Kion and Kiara look fine, but Kion's friends look more cartoonish, and sometimes they look like they don't fully belong in the Lion King, but manages to fit in enough, but not entirely. I could go on and nitpick about more stuff, but I think it's best that you folks see the show and judge it for yourselves. You might like it, you might not. But as for me, that's all I gotta say for this, whatever it is.
Well, that's it for me, folks. This show is a hit or miss, but in the end, it's all up to you. And you know what? I'm actually feeling better than when I first started this. Yeah, I'm feeling more perky. Thanks, Dark Phoenix. I actually feel good now. And it's all thanks to your suggestion to talk about the Lion Guard.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Can't really exist without you after all. I mean, I am your dark manifestation. So, now that you're feeling kind of perky again, and I can find some excuse to depress you myself instead of having someone else do it, what are you gonna do now?
Well, I was thinking about having some more fun.
And this is why you never amount to anything in life.
Well, that's it, folks. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves, because I sure had fun. You know, we should do this again sometime. And if you want me to, I'll gladly do so. Hey, maybe we can even... Nope! 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 Nope, 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 nope. Sorry, folks. Nope. Until then, but fuck this shit, I'm out.
My father and I used to do this all the time. He says all the great kings of the past are up there.
Do you think Scar's up there?
You?
Yes. I am Scar.